episode where we're silent.
I know. We've been just
That'll be
ripping through them.
good.
Uh, we're up. We're live on the internet. Let me get it out there, and then we're good to start.
All right, yeah, we're all good with the audio.
Perfect. All right, I'm good to go. Actually, wait. Sorry, let me tweet it. All right. You ready? All right. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
You guys doing?
Doing pretty well, Chris. Doing pretty well. So, big couple days since the last podcast. The Wizards have been wheeling and dealing. My Celtics got involved. Marcus Smart's in Memphis. We got a lot to talk about. And, of course, the whole NBA draft recap. We're going to start off with the trades. And we're going to start off with Kristaps Porzingus going.
Have we had a Wise trade yet?
An official Wise trade? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. That was my first reaction before we really get into it. Was look at that.
Yeah, like we're our business.
Yeah, we both got dogs in the race.
Yep. And I thought it was pretty good trade for everyone involved. It wasn't like a historic fleece or anything. It wasn't ridiculous. So for the people at home keeping track, Kristaps Porzingus goes to Boston with the 25th pick that they then eventually later traded down, and a future first-round pick from Golden State, top 4 protected. Washington gets Tyus Jones, Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and the 35th pick, and the Memphis Grizzlies get Marcus Smart. So, the beginning of the day, it was a different trade. Beginning of the day, it was Malcolm Brogdon going to the Clippers. Your a former Washington and I think Celtic, Marcus Morris, going to the Wizards, and then a couple other picks thrown in there. But now the Celtics, they officially break up their core. The big three of Smart, Tatum, and Brown is over, and you would have thought someone blew up TD Garden that night. Like, honestly, you would have thought that it was. I have never seen a guy, and I will give him his props and give him his flowers, because he has been a great Celtic, 9 years, 9 playoff appearances, in a lot of battles, a lot of heart on the floor, a lot of love, yada, yada, yada. But I've never seen a guy get bitched out in the playoffs year after year after year, and then when he gets traded, we're like, oh, what the hell?
It's an incredibly complicated relationship because I feel like at least on this show, it's like episode to episode of whether or not you're using Marcus Smart for something or just ripping him.
Yeah,
like Smart really showed up, like force on defense, like he was taking all the right shots and like
or he was taking none of the right
stepping up.
shots.
He was there, and then the next episode, it's like, Marcus Smart just has to stop shooting basketball. I remember the one episode where I was like, that Smart shot at like the end of the fourth quarter was just horrible. And, like, which one? Like, there's so many of them. So it is crazy, that relationship that he's had with Boston. But it's now clear that at the end of the day, the city as a whole loved him and embraced him.
Yeah,
he did too. Like he loved being here.
Yeah,
there.
it came out the next day that he was pretty shocked. He said he wanted to retire in Boston. He did love the city of Boston. I guess what they loved about him was that he just emasculated the toughness, the heart and soul of the team. Um, first one on the floor when the ball's loose. Um, and he had big shots. He had big moments, big shots, and then he had a lot of shots where it was the big moment and they didn't go in, and it wasn't the right play. So it is it was a little love hate relationship actually watching him on the court. And as you pointed out, when he's finally now gone, it all turned into love. But I'm gonna enjoy watching Marcus Smart play in Memphis. I'm gonna first of all just
Good fit for him.
yeah, I think it's a great fit. I think it's absolutely a stellar fit. Get an adult in the room for the Grizzlies. It's basically they got real Dylan Brooks, like who Dylan Brooks thinks he is Marcus Smart, and
It's
so
actually
now they got
a very good analogy.
real Dylan Brooks. Um, and the Celtics got 2 first round picks. They've already traded down this number 25 pick. I swear it was like 4 times in this draft. And they have like a shit ton of second round picks. So we've seen those go for
Join the club.
yeah, yeah. We've seen those go for some role players on some teams. So that could be something. And now they have Kristaps Porzingis in the mix. I don't know how Kristaps I don't know how well he fits. I don't know what the team's really going to look like. I'm waiting for the rest of free agency to give my opinions on that. But what I'm excited about is that I'm getting something different. The past 5, 6 years, I have known exactly how these games are going to go. Every single time. Doesn't matter if we're winning the game or losing the game. I know how the game is going to go. And now, for the first time, it feels like in years, I'm looking at a Boston team where I'm looking at something different.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis is a weird figure in the league because there's been like so many different versions of him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
he's been out of the
arguably
league
last
like
year,
4 times, and then now he's like has value. He came into the league and he was like next Giannis. Like he's had a
yeah,
roller coaster.
yeah. So it's all over the place with him. But last year he was like quietly one of the more efficient scorers in the NBA and
Okay,
was the best player on that Wizards team. Um,
okay.
I don't know if that it was just like a 1 year wonder and he was on this team and he like had to be main scorer and that's why that happened and it was a team that didn't really care about defense but had success offensively. So we'll see how that translates to Boston, but I feel like you need another big guy that can give you something. Like
Yeah,
Horford saw last year Horford would have been the difference between making the finals the year before and not making it this year because he was basically a non-factor in the
yeah, he was gassed
playoffs.
by the end of it.
Yeah, now you get bringing another. Is he set like 7'1"?
Yeah, he's
He'll
huge.
be a rim protector. Um, you can utilize him and Robert Williams out there in the same time, and you can stretch him out on offense like you would like to do with Horford, but just at the end there. So he's like a better replacement for Al, I think.
Yeah,
He
I think
doesn't have his dog though.
yeah that
He did
that
a
is true.
dog and not a puppy. It's like when the Wizards traded for him, they got rid of Montrezl Harrell, brought him on. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, you just went from the hardest guy in the league to one of the softest.
Yeah, that worries me. That worries me. Injury worries me. Right now he's at a 1 year player option that he accepted for I think 30 something million dollars,
26.
$36 million, and I'm okay with that. I think that is how we should kind of leave it for now. I don't think we should do any extension. No, nothing of the sorts because I want to see how it fits. I want to see if he can stay healthy on this team. Want to see if they can figure it out. And when you have Horford, but my issue is we still need an extra big man now. Like we did get a big man, and he will be useful in the playoffs. But you have Horford, Porzingis, and Robert Williams. That doesn't scream. That's not the pinnacle of health. That is like a terrible, like if you're putting all your faith in those three guys, one or two of them will not be there come playoff time. So that's what I worry about. I think they
Need like
got,
another Tice.
yeah, I know. I already
Like,
saw,
or like
I already
Kelly
saw
Olynyk,
Tice.
like one of those guys.
I already saw a Tice. Like, let's bring him back. I do not want. I want no more reunions. I
Good.
saw. I want. I saw
I
Scary
did see
Terry
you tweet
reunions.
that.
I saw Tice reunions. Um, people are already talking about bringing Marcus Smart back in 4 years. Like, I want new. I want new. I want fresh blood, new guys to root for.
Yeah.
So I am excited about Kristaps. I think adding that is a whole level. He's not reliable late in the game. We have Jason and Jalen for him. He's not needing to be the first scorer. He's gonna be hopefully in the corner like Horford was for a couple plays, and that's all I'm looking for.
I mean, is a pure scorer.
That's fine with
At
me.
his size, with his skill on offense, he is at his peak. He's basically unstoppable.
All right. Well,
So,
now,
when the
so we're
Wizards,
winning the finals.
well, no, of course, I don't know if he gives you what you're missing. He's 7'3", not 7'1", by the way.
Oof.
I don't know if he gives you what you were missing. That's the only thing that I'd be
Well,
concerned
no,
about.
I think it's a whole new kit and caboodle. You know, I think there's gonna be more stuff to do. Derek White's now starting point guard. I think this team still looks more. I think it looks more different. I get more different. I don't know. Looks even more different than it does
For
right
sure.
now. And I that's what I want. I think you said it wasn't to solve the exact issue from last year. I don't want I don't want to solve that issue. I want to have a new squad that will eventually have a new issue that I will hate. But I don't know. I'm just excited for new things.
What
On the
about
watch.
Brogdon? What's the deal there before we move on?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's like he was traded and
He was
he's not. They're
traded
like,
for
oh,
8 hours. We're like, hey, what up,
it's
Brogdon?
like a prank trade.
Yeah. They're like, hey, well, what I would say to Brogdon if I'm Brad Stevens or the coach or whatever, or his teammates, I'd be like, yeah, you were gone for 8 hours, but once that fell through, we traded Marcus Smart, like the guy that everyone's freaking out over because you can't stay healthy and nobody wants your health. So we're gonna keep you. We're gonna need you because now we don't have Smart. So you can either pout for the rest of your contract, or we could just trade you later. And I guess I'd see what he says. So that was weird. That was weird. It doesn't. I don't like. Now I just talked about Porzingus, Robert Williams, and Horford. Now we can throw Brogdon in there. This team really needs to have some bubble wrap and stay healthy, or else there's going to be some lingering issues coming into the season. But overall, I enjoyed the pick, or enjoyed the trade. The pick that they eventually did get was like 39 or something, and they got a guy, Jordan Walsh, who I watched play out of Arkansas. He got a ton of rebounds.
Like 3 guys drafted.
Huh?
Arkansas.
Yeah. They did get 3 guys drafted.
Nick Smith and
Yep, and now Jordan Walsh.
hey, Walsh is the ball dude.
Yep. He's Grant Williams' replacement. Like, he's gonna walk in the locker room and give me Grant's number. That's the one I want. Because he is exactly. I don't know if he's as good as I don't really know what is the good part of Grant Williams, but he hustles, he gets
I
rebounds,
don't really know either.
and he should bring some attitude. So I like it coming off the bench. I'm sure he probably won't even play this season, but in the future, I think he could be a decent role player. So Washington, they were busy. Where do you want to
Yeah.
start? I
So
guess you want to finish off this trade, Tyus
let's
Jones. I
finish
guess
this trade. Yeah. Some people are like really excited about Tyus
I think he's
Jones.
good.
Like he's fine, I
When
guess.
when I thought he was going to the Celtics, I was excited. If that makes you even more excited.
Right, but you're in a much different situation than we are.
Who
Like,
cares?
what does Tyus Jones do for this team?
Who cares what he does for the team?
All
Like
right, all
honestly,
right, fine
who
then. I
gives a
like Tyus Jones.
yeah? Like who gives a shit what he does for the team? You're just accumulating assets at this point.
Yeah, right. Okay, so he's a good asset to have. That's it. It sucks when you're like basically playing 2K and these aren't like real people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when you get Chris Paul and it's like, okay, so like not even thinking about him setting foot on the floor.
yeah.
It's
Where
like,
can
what
I flip
else do
him?
we acquire with
Yeah, yeah.
this? Yeah.
No, I
But
tweeted
yeah,
out before you get going. I tweeted out it's got to be the most fun job in sports right now, being the Wizards GM, because you're literally just playing 2K in real life, and that's exactly what they did this draft. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, so yeah, I guess I'm sure I'll enjoy watching Tyus Jones play. I love Gallinari.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
need
kind
a
of
Gallinari on the team, but he's fun because he hits threes. And then you got 35 in the draft. So I don't know what Porzingis's value was, considering he was opted into a 1-year, $36 million deal. Like, I'm sure that depleted his value a little bit. So they got something out of him. Not the worst trade in the world. Not getting a first round pick, it's a little frustrating. That was also probably because I convinced myself that they were gonna get number 3 for him. We're gonna happen. So all things considered, it's not a bad deal. And I'm not like sad to see him go. I expected that to happen as much as it was fun to watch him play. I guess it's not like a dagger to the chest or anything. But I guess to wrap up the Beal trade, because we got more detail on that, we got like
how
a
does
billion second round picks.
how does that work? How is there more
Amen.
details added in? Did they call back up
Because
Phoenix and they're like, all right, we need like a couple more?
Oh, I think when they released the report, it was because it's all like in principle, and they're just like just like multiple second round picks and like a pick swap or two. And for some reason, it just didn't come out that it's literally like it's 6 second round picks and 4 pick swaps.
Yeah, so
The first
Phoenix
round, which
will
is
not
actually
control
a lot.
Phoenix will not control a pick until 2031.
Not
2031.
a first round pick,
No,
pick,
a pick, any pick.
any pick.
They won't have a single pick until 2031.
It's insane.
I was like, they are trading assets for when I'm 28 years old.
Mhm.
That's insanity.
Who knows where we're gonna be?
No, that's
like
nuts.
7 years in 2030.
Oh,
Last year, where the Suns will not be picking in the draft. Maybe they'll just keep trading them away. With Sean McVay, just like never make a first round pick.
They just get Bradley Beal every year. So that I think that was a little more of the compensation you wanted, right? The 4
Right,
pick
yeah.
swaps,
And the pick swaps, like
the second picks. They're
this
not
team
nothing.
is not built to last.
No, not in
Suns
20.
team.
Not when I'm 28 years old.
So, like when this thing comes crashing down, these pick swaps could be a big deal.
Yeah,
That could be the difference between like, I don't know, like let's say this is getting ridiculous, but let's say in 2028, this will be the 2023 4. That'll be like 4 seasons from now.
yeah.
Wait,
5.
right. 4 seasons from this upcoming season. 5 from like right now.
Okay.
5 NBA drafts from last night. Phoenix is like a top 3 pick, and the Wizards are, I don't know, maybe they're good enough to be on the edge of the lottery at this point. Now you have number 3 instead of number 14.
Yeah,
That's like
it's
not
big
the
deal.
most unrealistic thing in the world.
No, it's a big deal. It definitely is not the most unrealistic thing in the world. I think there's gonna come into a fruition. Like, there's a reason why the Clippers like are so like they're not gonna blow up anything. because all their picks go to OKC. So there's going to be a couple these teams that are regretting these decisions that have
And the
been 10
Suns,
years in
like
the
the
making.
Suns would love to do that, I'm sure, but you have Kevin Durant, who's like, will just up and leave when the going gets tough.
Yeah, that's true. The
So
second
it's not like you can't just be like, oh, we're committed to this for like a while. It's like, well, you think you are.
yeah,
Until he decides that he's sick of playing there and wants to go.
well, yeah, and then the worst part is like it's like, oh, but we have Booker. Like we'll always have Booker. It's like you'll have Booker. Yeah, Kevin Durant's in Booker's ears now. Like the second they don't want to play together, and the second Bradley Beal takes one too many shots, they're all done. They all want out of there, and they'll get picks.
Booker also doesn't strike me as a guy who's like willing to stick it out either.
No, and I guess he did for the beginning of his career, but he was young, so I guess he didn't have any ploy. Yeah, he didn't have any ploy. All right. Anyways, enough of the 28-year-old us talking. Back to the principle of next season and looking forward to next season. Chris Paul then has been flipped for Jordan Poole. And what, like another 2 picks? But you got like 2 more picks.
I'm honestly not sure.
It was Chris Paul for Chris Paul in the 57th picks, which is your boy Terrence Jackson Davis, for Jordan Poole, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Royals, a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, Baldwin Jr. That's the guy that everyone's excited. PB&J.
Oh my God, who the hell is Patrick Baldwin? I've heard this name.
He was a first-round pick last year.
Oh, all right.
BJ.
Got a professional hooper.
I just love the name.
He looks so young.
He's 20 years old.
Raw talent. So
Census 5-star recruit, top players in the class.
Before you give,
he was like the 25th pick, I think.
Before you give your opinion, he was the 28th pick on this. Okay. I'm going to say my piece. Yeah, as a non-biased, because I love the Wizards, but I'm not biased when what they do things. I think you absolutely stole Jordan Poole. I have high hopes for Jordan Poole. I think he is going to come in. He's going to look at what Bradley Beal has been doing in Washington for the past 8 years or however long, 11 years. And he's going to go, oh, I could do that. I could do exactly that. I'll give you exactly what you were missing with Bradley Beal. I will give you 25 shots a game, 26 points per game, a couple assists, barely any defense, and I'm going to have fun doing it. And he's going to be exciting. He is going to have a couple games where he drops like 40, close to 50.
He'll go off for 50.
Yeah, and that, like, this is exactly like, you just reset Bradley Beal. You reset him. You just sent him back in a time machine. Yeah, exactly. You sent him back in a time machine.
There's this team again.
Let's try it out again.
Scorer. No other good players. Remember, though, he's not going to win you a title.
Yes, that is the key.
Careful.
That is the key. They need to make sure that they don't give him a second contract. That would be the real mistake. Correct. Is giving him the second contract. This one was not a mistake. I think you weren't going to get anything better for Chris Paul. You weren't going to get, you weren't going to play Chris Paul. You didn't want him. So why not get another young guy? What is he? Jordan Poole's like 22 years old, who won a finals. He's 24. Okay, 24 years old. Who won a finals, and not, as the sixth man, but will bring you some guy you could put on posters and some guy who will score you 20, 25 points a game.
Yeah, when we talked about Poole, and this was if we were actually talking about Brad, and somehow the Warriors came up, and I said that I would gladly take Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
This team. wasn't expecting it to happen because I was like, well, the Warriors aren't going to trade for Beal, and then obviously it was not expecting them to trade for Paul either. I thought we might waive Chris Paul. In my mind, it was like anything that we were getting was worth it. When I saw we got Jordan Poole, I was very excited because it also gives you like at least something to be excited about. Like he's going to give you highlights.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like full team of bums, I guess. No disrespect to like Spurt and Denny and Johnny Davis, but like those guys aren't highlight reels.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I go to a game, I will see somebody who's really good at scoring the basketball, which will be exciting. But he's not going to elevate the core of this team by that much to the point where like all of a sudden they're mediocrity again. Like they're still going to suck. And in a year or two, maybe even longer, you will probably be able to flip him at the deadline because he's averaging like 30 points a game. And then that's where your Bradley Beal redo comes into play. Then you get assets. All about the assets.
Why?
So
they're gonna be
in this scenario.
They're gonna be really fun team to watch.
And the Wizards are like using each other to advance.
Oh, I like it.
In separate directions.
I like it.
Right?
I like it. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense. He's
like,
got to regather his image.
Poole's probably not a guy who's like, maybe like I could be wrong, but he's not gonna like stick around here for the duration of this rebuild.
No,
be the best player on this team for 4 years. Like, there's no way, unless he really is that sad. So like, nah, like I'm cool with scoring 30 a game and just hanging out, which is kind of what.
That's what Bradley Beal did.
Like Winger and Will Dawkins will have none of that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I like that using each other to go and basically reimagine both of them. Reimagine the Wizards, reimagine Jordan Poole's image. And the other thing that needs to be said, and I say it every time we mention Jordan Poole, is he got punched in the face by his teammate. He got punched in the face by his teammate, and like people were, oh, what happened to Jordan Poole? What happened to Jordan Poole? He got punched in the face by his teammate, and then had to play 82 games and playoff games with that same teammate. You would be petrified to do anything. Like every time they had the ball in his hand, he's like, "Oh, I can't mess up. Draymond's gonna hit me.
Yeah,
Draymond's gonna hit me. I can't mess up." And from the Warriors side, it looked like they needed to separate the two, whether it was going to be Draymond or Poole. They clearly chose Draymond, and I don't get this at all. They got Chris Paul.
Don't like Chris Paul on this team.
No, I've heard all these people talk about like, oh, you can have Curry as the shooting guard, and Chris Paul can play off ball too a little bit, and like they can help each other out. No defense.
Well, you didn't have that with Poole.
Yeah.
The same thing.
That's true. But Poole was coming off like, is Paul gonna come off the bench? Is Paul gonna start? Does he start at shooting guard? Dude, they're on a team full of cutters and he can't really run anymore. I don't know. I'm sure they'll figure it out. They're a smart team. He's a smart player. Yeah. They will figure out how it works. But that doesn't mean I have to like it.
I'm kind of in the same boat where I can't really get on board with it until I see it work. I'm not even saying that it's not going to work. I just can't picture it.
I just think at this point in their careers,
throw out positions, and it's like they have two guards.
Yeah,
they don't have a point and a shooting guard. Just like 2 guards and 3 forwards. But I guess if Clay's out there, then it's 3 guards, 3-guard lineup. Like what Baylor does, honestly.
What I just think
all the time, and they're all kind of the point guard at times.
Yeah, and they all can in or out, and Clay can't be no point guard. The thing that bothers me is I feel like Chris Paul and Draymond Green are pretty redundant. You have them do like you want Chris Paul to come in, have leadership, have smart IQ, pass the ball well, get Clay and Steph Curry the ball in the corner, and, not be a liability on defense. Draymond, you worry more about defense, but neither of those guys you want shooting the ball. Like, teams are going to be daring them to
I
shoot
mean,
the ball.
Paul's competent. The other thing about him is he's not going to take away shots like Jordan Poole did.
Yeah, that is
Curry.
true.
He's not just going to be like chucking up and
Yeah.
up like horrible efficiency numbers.
That's true, and it could also help out
It's more pressure on Curry to score, though.
Yes.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, he's the best shooter ever.
Unless they want to defer to Chris Paul and like have some Chris Paul moments, but that's a lot of faith in a 38-year-old perennial choker. He might also help with Kuminga. Might help with
7-2.
Yeah, 7-2 Kuminga. And I don't know. I don't get it. I'm sure there'll be other moves that'll happen. Draymond still might leave, so maybe that whole
he's a free agent.
Yeah, maybe that whole redundancy's out the window. But definitely gonna be exciting to see what else they do. All right, we need to run through some of these things a little bit more. We haven't even gotten.
The last thing I'll say about that real quick is that Warriors hate Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, and the Chris Paul hates the Warriors. Remember the first thing that came out afterwards was all the times that Steph Curry would be talking shit to Chris Paul, and then the time that it was one of the funniest videos ever. I don't remember if he's on OKC or Houston, but Steve Kerr says something on the sidelines, and Chris Paul just like fake laughs at him, and then just like turns around and does the face like, "What an asshole."
Oh yeah.
So that'll be an interesting dynamic. And their fans also have hated Chris Paul for years now. Like the Warriors fans, they're going back on Twitter today and deleting all their old tweets. They're like, "Oh God, like we can't let Chris see."
Well, I remember in 2013 or 14 when the Warriors were just coming up and the Clippers were still the better team. They hated them then.
They beat him. They beat him year after year after year.
That year, the Clippers beat him, I think.
Yeah, maybe it was like one of the first couple times.
It was, like the first year the Warriors were decent. Then every year after that.
All right.
Booms out.
To wrap up trade season, I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a couple other picks things. So, the NBA draft. Did you sat? It seemed like you watched the draft. I saw you on Twitter. Pretty active.
A good bit of the first round.
I painstakingly sat through all 8 picks.
My God.
I sat through them all.
How did you do that?
Oh, towards the end. Well, I was like, I had my laptop open. I had Twitter.
Right.
And then I just kind of zoned in. And then
what time did it end?
It ended at like 1 o'clock. It was like at least 12:45.
What are you gaining from watching like picks 50 through 60?
Nothing. Nothing at all. And the worst part too is the whole second round. You have no idea where any of these guys are going, and neither does the broadcast.
Oh.
The broadcast has no clue.
So they don't even try though.
No, they don't try.
Just like find random things to talk about, and it's like, what is this show? Like a draft show anymore.
I do gotta say, the draft show was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I thought JJ Redick was great. Everyone else was pretty dookie. Jay Billis would not stop blinking. He wouldn't stop blinking the whole time. My dad and I were laughing about it, and then we tried to blink like Jay Billis, and like I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna pass out. Like this hurts."
He's just got like really moist eyes.
Or dry eyes. It's like,
yeah, I guess it would be dry eyes. Yeah.
Dude, no, but it was insane the amount he was blinking. It freaks me out.
Definitely some weird stuff that was going on. I wasn't even watching. I was just like, I would be like on Twitter in between picks. I would look up to see Adam Silver.
The girl doing the interviews. What was her name? I texted it to you. It was something. Let me look. I texted it to you. It was God, of course we texted too much last night. All right.
I was looking at my.
Where the hell is it?
Monica McKnight.
There you go, Monica McKnight. She sucked. She was awful. God, why are you asking these guys how it feels to be drafted? They're all gonna go indescribable. I don't. It's like the happiest day of my life. What do you think they're gonna be like? Like she asked one of the guys, "Hey, you said I think it was Cole Anthony actually. They're like, you said that your favorite basketball memory was when it was in 5th grade playing some AAU tournament and you won it all. How does this compare to that night? Like, what the hell?" He was like, "This is clearly the best day of my life. Like, this is way better than anything that happened in the 5th grade.
This is probably better than the 5th grade tournament that we. You're right, though. It's tough.
It's close.
It's
It's
a good
close.
comparison. Good question.
Like, what? They had the stupidest questions of all time.
One, I think it was Wemby, and he was crying, and she was like,
What are the tears
going
like?
through, like, all this, like, see the emotion. Tell me about those tears, man. Like, what?
Also, just let's do Wemby now, since you already mentioned him.
Yeah.
There's not screw basketball wise. We've already been talking about Wemby to the Spurs for years now, or like months now. But the Wembentonio was I kind of was all in. Like, I know I tweeted out like what is going on, but shortly after the tweet, I was like, I'm in.
It was like a fever dream when it got to San Antonio. It was like, what is going? And of course, it was Marty Smith out there, and like the mascot just looking like.
It looks like he's all coked out.
Animatronic.
It's
just
coked out.
blow.
The best is he takes off his cowboy hat and he has the Wembanyama silhouette on his head. If I'm Wembanyama, I'm requesting a trade after that video.
Yeah,
I'm pulling a Kobe.
Wild moment.
I'm not going to San Antonio. Also, Twitter was all over Wemby's sister. Did you see that?
Not see that.
They were all over Wemby's sister. Just to throw it out there, she just looks like Wemby. Like you're looking, she looks like Victor. So if that's what you want, if that's what you want to do, I mean, everyone has their own cup of tea. So whatever. But all right, the real drama of the draft started with pick number 2, where you correctly predicted the Charlotte Hornets' downfall of taking Brandon Miller, number 2.
Why do you hate him so much? I hate him as a person, but as a basketball player,
I just think Scoot. I just liked everything I heard about Scoot more than I liked about Brandon Miller. That's where it is. Like I if he went 3rd, like I'm not gonna, I wouldn't say I thought great 3rd pick. Like I think it would be great.
Yeah.
And I could see where Scoot. Like it feels like one of those moments, At least it did for me, where it's just like, ooh, like all the fans hated him. The Hugo the Hornet is in the stand lines going, and then just like collapses to the floor. Like Charlotte is not happy about this pick. Aaron Barton, if you remember him from a couple pods ago, he's in shambles.
That was like the one.
He is in absolute.
Like, I'd be fine trading the pick. I'd be fine with Scoot. I don't want Brandon Miller.
So he said earlier, he said in the upcoming months, because I'm in a group chat with him, and I swear to God, every single day, him and one other person gets into a Scoot versus Brandon Miller debate. Hopefully it's finally over now. But he said if they do pick Brandon Miller, I am not going to be a fan of the Charlotte Hornets anymore. And I texted him last night, like, so what's going on? Are you a free agent right now? And he said, no, because it was Michael Jordan's one last FU to the city of Charlotte, that he's going to stick. He said it wasn't the GM. It wasn't the front office. It was Michael goddamn Jordan. And I will never forgive him for
this. This is why the draft is ridiculous.
I know, because he could be really good. He could be
really good.
And I love, like, he does fit better than Scoot does. He fits great with LaMelo Ball. You don't have to now worry about trading one of them later or worrying about the fit. So it makes sense. I personally would have gone Scoot, but there it is. Brandon Miller, Miller the Killer. Here he is, Charlotte. Did you see his interview with his dad?
What, when he said he's a high character guy?
No, well, they're like, so what is your son bringing to Charlotte? And I like you looking at the camera, and Dad's just like shivering, and I was thinking in the dad's head, he's just like, just don't say bringing a gun, don't say bringing a gun. He's like, good character.
Gun. Oh, God. No, not a gun.
Good character. Gun. That I guess that's
Family Guy, like birthday sports, not just sports.
Oh man, but they did not know how to answer that question. They were like, good character, great guy.
I feel like I haven't heard anything about that.
That was the other
Let's
thing that
have a
pissed me off.
Great agent.
It was nothing was mentioned. Maybe one thing saying there was an incident at Alabama, but I don't even think so. There was nothing said about it during the draft, during the analysis, and all I was thinking is if this was the NFL, it'd be like the first thing said. Brandon Miller, pick number 2. He brought a gun to Alabama. And
did they talk about the Jalen Carter thing during the draft? Because I don't think I watched the NFL draft show.
I watched it. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm giving the NFL
the
a bad
Miller
rap.
thing is way worse. Jalen Carter was being a moron. Brandon Miller was like accessory to murder. I just know that this is one of those things where, like, in like 15 years, if he's ends up being really good, like, you're gonna be looking back telling people, like, did you know that in college he was basically an accessory to murder? And people aren't gonna know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, did you know I chanted lock him up to him? All right. Next pick, Scoot Henderson to the Portland Trail Blazers. No Dame trade tonight. No trade of the 3rd pick. Dame said he has a week for them to figure it out. And honestly, just fuck off, Dame. I am so like I was done with Dame like
traded, right?
I was done with Dame and these trade rumors like 2 years ago. Like, Dame, bro, we get it. You're loyal to Portland. Just go somewhere else. Like, they're going to it, and I think they had a good draft.
Said anything, has he?
No, but he's like, oh, he wants to stay in. There's always rumors like, oh, he wants to stay in Portland and yada yada yada. I thought it was stupid. But now they have Scoot. They got later in the draft. They got Chris Murray. In the 2nd round. Actually, I'm not even gonna look at this 2nd round because I don't know who the hell actually went where. But I thought they had a good draft, and I like Scoot. It's either you're getting rid of Simons and Shaden Sharp, and you're keeping Scoot and Dame, or you're getting rid of Dame. And I think it's like I said before the draft. I think it's time to trade Dame. Trying to get some pieces to rebuild. Try to be like the Wizards. And you already have the piece, though. You're like the Wizards, but you have the piece.
Not starting from square one.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the guy, you have the piece. Just build around Scoot and stop worrying about Dame. He great, man. You were loyal. You hit a lot of threes. I saw a tweet. It was like, Dame's not only just a professional basketball player, but it was like he's a rapper. He's like owned all these businesses. It was this whole list of other things that he does outside of basketball. And I was like, yeah, because the list of his doing shit in basketball is nothing. Is nothing. There's no list. He hit a buzzer beater against Paul George. Congrats, bro. Like, you made 1 Western Conference Finals, and I think he won the Rookie of the Year. Who knows? Nobody even gives a shit about Rookie of the Year. Like, this was... Dame is.
You did when it was Ben Simmons' rookie year.
That's true.
Let's not pretend like we don't care about the rookie of the year.
All right, you care in the moment. You don't care when you're 11 years in the league. Nobody's gonna be like, "Well, he did win Rookie of the Year." So, like Dame, like
Michael Carter Williams won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I like. Is Dame? Dame is overrated. Dame is overrated.
I agree.
And I'm tired of hearing about him. So let's move on. The
Your foot in
Thompson
ground.
twins. This was a great moment. Favorite moment of the draft. The Thompson twins going 4 and 5, back to back, going to the Houston Rockets. Amen and Asar going to the Detroit Pistons. Again, I don't really know much about these guys, so I'm just gonna say great fit. And to be honest, if I am looking at this draft and you're looking at like, oh, like maybe I want to get like if you're the Pistons, it's like, oh, I could get Cam Whitmore, I could get Anthony Black, Jarris Walker, Taylor Hendricks. I'd rather just get the 6'7" shooting guard that has handles.
Yeah.
And same thing with Houston. Like I'd rather just get the freak.
Yeah, just give me a freaking athlete out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Give me a freak and I'll worry about the rest later. Yeah. Like
I said last time, you can just develop a jump shot. Just work on it in the offseason.
Exactly. Didn't you say you couldn't do that?
Yes. I was very adamant about that, actually.
So, love those two picks. Excited to see. I hope there's like a little, because there was already a Cade Cunningham, a Jalen Green, pick 1 and 2 with these two teams. Now the Thompson twins are on the 2 separate teams. And I know they're twins, they're brothers, they've been with each other their whole life. But let's get some animosity going. Let's get some, when they face each other, let's get some FU going at each other. And maybe 2 young up-and-coming teams that have had very similar seasons the past couple years. Maybe we can get a rivalry brewing once they finally come into pieces and they finally get into some winning basketball games.
I wish they were in the same conference.
Yeah, that would have been cooler.
That'd be better if they were playing like 4 times a year.
Yeah, that would have been dope. So, Anthony Black goes 6th to the Orlando Magic.
That one kind of changed, like, I don't know if it was day off the draft, but recently, the odds changed a lot.
Yeah, he was no longer the Wizards' bona fide pick. It seemed like I guess because there was inklings that he was going to go a little higher. Goes to the Magic. How many times are they going to take a shot at a guard?
They have a couple.
I did not like this draft for the Magic at all.
No?
No, was not a fan.
Oh, Jet Howard, yeah, at 11, that was weird.
It reminded me of, remember a couple years ago when the Warriors got 2 first-round picks that were close to each other, and they could have gotten like Franz Wagner and someone else, but they got Kuminga and Moody. That reminds me of what happened here with the Magic.
Yeah.
Where it's like they just didn't get the right guys. And I could be wrong. Of course, I could be wrong. I mean, all of these picks could be busts or next future Hall of Famers. But I think you need a lot more 3-point shooting for the Magic and in this backcourt. Cause like you're kind of like you drafted a taller version of Markelle Fultz, who was already on the team. And not only does he not shoot very well, but he doesn't shoot it a lot. 2.6 attempts a game.
No, like 3-pointers?
Yeah, 3-pointers.
Okay.
Yeah, not just normal shots, 3-pointers.
I was gonna say that would be crazy.
So I don't know. I think it does allow for them to get a guy with the ball in his hands, can get it to Paolo and Franz, pass the ball well, control the field or the court. But I just don't see how this puts them over the edge. And I guess Jet Howard would be the.
Oh, you said that you had liked the pick
Earlier this podcast?
Like last night, I thought you said that.
For Anthony Black? I don't think so. I'll look at Twitter. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't believe so.
You said Anthony Black. I said that's a weird pick, and you said I think it makes sense.
Oh, well then I guess I thought about it for a second. You think it's a weird pick too? Give your thoughts.
I did think it was a weird pick. It's just not what I expected. Like I thought get to Whitmore, but like that's where I thought Whitmore was going, obviously.
Yeah, he really
I mean,
fell.
you have Fultz and Cole Anthony.
Let's wait. I gotta say, let's give a props to you failing to bet the exact order of the NBA draft. This is probably the third thing on the podcast you've said that has become exactly true and would have gotten you insane odds.
All right. Well, this one, the correct score of the Super Bowl was an anomaly.
Yeah,
This
that was
one,
once in a
the odds
lifetime.
weren't that crazy.
Oh, you said it was like plus 2,000.
I know it was.
They weren't that crazy, but
It's not that crazy. Like the Super Bowl was way more than that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but I don't know how it was because I was looking at that. It makes it worse because I looked at doing this in FanDuel and none of the odds were like that. Like obviously, Wembanyama was minus billion to go first, and then at the time I was looking at it, Miller was like minus 600. Scoot was like minus 400. So the only one that was like decent odds was Asar to go fifth, I think.
I bet him to go 8th. I was like, oh, let's get him on the Wizards.
8th.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let's get him on the Wizards. All right. Next up, well, actually, let's talk about Chet real quick. Chet Howard or Jet, not Chet. I mean, Michigan guy, Big Ten. What can you tell me about him?
I don't know. He missed the tournament. That's what I know.
Oh,
him and Kobe Buffkin and Hunter Dickinson, and the team missed the tournament. Juwan's kid, I know that. I didn't know that he was this big of a deal, to be honest.
I think it was a stretch or a reach. I don't remember. Like I didn't see any, and I guess it's a reach compared to our mocks and what the experts say. But I guess 3-point shooting, what I just talked about without with what's his name, Anthony Black. But what really made me mad, and this is if people are if they're listening, they're gonna really be upset with what I'm about to say. But Grady Dick was right on the board, and they could have had Suggs Black Dick right there, right on the team, literally right there.
Twitter was in shambles.
Yo, yeah, Twitter was pissed, dude. Because once Black came out, we were like, uh-oh. Like we were like, uh-oh, it's coming into forward. The vision's coming into forward.
The Suggs Dick was always there.
Yeah.
So got him at 6. They're just like they're toying with us.
Yeah,
young pieces. They don't even need to hit on this draft.
Yeah, I know. That was the other thing. It's like they didn't even need to pick here. They just they see the vision just like everyone else. So that was upsetting to see that didn't happen. But anyways, the best pick in the first round, number 7, the Washington Wizards select Giannis Antetokounmpo.
The text conversation we had was probably one of the better moments of like this podcast history because he texted me like, "That's a weird pick." I was like, "Who is this guy? Like he looks awful."
He said he averaged 5 points. Yeah, you called him Alien Head.
And literally like a minute later, it's like, "Well, actually, he's being traded to the Wizards," and I was like, "All right, time to go in and edit all of these texts that I sent."
Oh, it was amazing.
Which I did, and by the time you screenshotted it, it was like
it was
they were already edited.
Yeah, they were through.
Because on Twitter, it's like, what did I say? I said, I don't understand this draft. I changed it to like, I don't understand this draft. How could they all pass on Bilal?
And then didn't you edit it so like I don't understand? Yeah, how could they all pass? That's what it was. It was so funny. And the best part is like we're on, our phones are out while the draft is happening in the background, and like while we're texting each other about how garbage this guy is, he gets traded to the Wizards, and I just go, oh no. Because now all of a sudden, so after looking at him a little bit, and when I said in the mock, I had him going to OKC, and I said very OKC pick, and they generally get good picks, so great Wizards pick.
Here's something crazy.
Yeah, didn't he grow an inch? He
Born
grew
in
a foot.
2004.
Oh, that's gross.
Terrifying.
What else is crazy is he grew an inch, or not an inch. That would be funny. No, a foot. He grew a foot. I think like 2 years ago. So he
was 6'6" not that long ago. Now he's 6'8".
He's not done. He's not done.
Somebody compared him. Somebody put up like his measurables with Giannis's measurables at the time of the draft, and they are strikingly similar. I will say that.
All I gotta say is when you draft like, and I did say Jarris Walker looks like he could eat him. That is something I said. So, but when you're looking at like the rest of this draft, like the guys who went behind him is like, Taylor Hendricks, Carson Wallace, Jett Howard, Grady Dick, Jordan Hawkins. Like none of those guys within the next 5 years you could be like, oh, like this is our centerpiece. You took a dart shot. No. You took a dart shot with this guy, and he could very well, within the next 3 or 4 years, we'd be like, oh, this is a guy. Like this is a guy. And the real vision, the true vision, something I laid out on Twitter, I don't know if you saw it or not, is he said him and Wemby are like brothers. So when Wemby doesn't win a championship in San Antonio, and when the Wizards rebuild is coming to a close, those 2027, 2030 picks are going to be coming in from Phoenix, and they're going to be top 10 picks, and you're going to be trading them for Wemby to pair him up with your boy, Bile Kulabai. It's the vision. The real vision.
That's way too exciting.
That's like mega brain. It's mega brain.
You gotta stop like making fun of French people. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, so you're gonna be like a.
Now.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Wait.
Yeah, I think.
You see the Wizards tweet that said "We got our guy,"
yes.
and it was in French.
I really like.
That was so funny.
That was funny, but like my Asayag brain came back in, and I was just like, "That's not how you use it. That's not how. Like, that's not what we means." I was like, "What are you doing?"
I think they know that.
No, yes, they of course know that. It was part of the joke, but I was just like, "Oh, cringe." I'm reading this thing about him. Kulabai is a mystery box, combining ideal height, length, and raw athletic tools. So basically, he's
literally reads like Giannis.
Yeah, just
reading his player description. He is Giannis.
I love it.
Is he not? He needs to find a training program, ever one that Giannis did.
Yeah,
I just wish he was from Greece, dude. I would be like,
oh, it would have been nuts.
It
would have been absolutely nuts. If this guy, but like this, we were talking about the pieces and the building around and waiting till next year to build around a guy. And of course, let's see him on the court. Let's see him play some basketball first. But this has the potential to be the guy that you're looking for.
So I'm all in.
Yeah, I think it's.
First, I was like, "What is going on? Like, what are we doing?" But I will gladly take the guy who's possibly a project, but
no, and he
has more upside than anyone at that point in the draft.
Honestly, and we'll get to him later in a fat college corner, but it reminds me a lot if Gigi Jackson would have stayed and declared next year for the draft. I feel like this would have been like the pick that he would have been. He would have been a lot like this Bile Kulabai. All right, Jarris Walker.
Everything has to be about Gigi.
Yeah, it is. Everything is about Gigi. No, just what kind of reminded me of. a raw guy that you could build around. But of course, Gigi didn't do that, and then he suffered the consequences by going in the second round. All right, Jarris Walker out of Houston, coming in for the Pacers. I kind of liked what the Pacers did. They got him. They got, sorry, trying to scroll down and find the right one. They got Ben Shepherd out of Belmont, and oh crap, they got someone else and in the second round. But they got guys out of college, which a lot of these teams. I mean, of course, a lot of them did, but it seemed like a lot of these guys were going.
If you were to say that like 15 years ago.
Yeah, we've been like, what are you, stupid? Like, of course they picked the guys.
Like, yeah, it's the draft.
Yeah, they got guys.
Idiot.
But
yeah, it is. It's not as normal as it used to.
No, and they got a good defender in Walker. I don't know anything about the other guy that they got out of Belmont, Ben Shepherd. So I'm not gonna pretend like I did. He's a little older. It looks like he has a 41% 3-point shooting, so that's good. So sure, I guess good job. I don't know if it seems like they could have gone Taylor Hendricks here, and it would have been a little bit better. But who am I to tell? Speaking of Taylor Hendricks, going to the Jazz, next pick. If he went one pick later, I would have made some money because I bet him to go 10th.
Oh, you had him going 10?
Yeah, and
I don't even where you had him in your mock, I thought.
No, it wasn't. And I let me look. I swear to God, if I had him going 9th too.
I had him 7, I think, if I remember correctly.
Okay, I definitely had him a little higher than expected. Yeah. I had Keontae George going to the Jazz, which he did eventually go to. Just the wrong pick.
Later though, like 17.
Yeah. He went. I'm pretty sure 17. Yeah, to 16. Keontae George, 16. So I think they got a good draft. They got two guys that they will add to this rebuild. They've hit on the past couple draft picks. They've hit on their past free agent signings. They're another one of these teams that has a bunch of pieces already, so it's not like they're looking for the guy. And I think these are two solid role players coming in, and a point guard in George to really help them. And this will decide if he's better than George, or if he's better than Colin Sexton or not. That'll determine what they do in the point guard rate.
Yeah, no, but they're definitely set up well. It is weird, like, wait, the Jazz are only the 9th pick? I guess I never really thought about that with like how bad they were supposed to be, but
yeah, remember they surprised everyone. They surprised everyone this year. They were like way ahead of schedule. And then they dialed it back a little bit towards the end and lost some games. But we were talking to them in the Wemby range. And like the Wemby team, actually, because we were like, oh, they're just scrapping everybody. So they're doing a good job over there. And I think both these guys will come in and play for them immediately. And that's what you're really looking for in the first round. I love Carson Wallace to the Thunder. Give them another guard to play with Shea and Giddey.
Why do they need another guard?
Well,
I guess they could have drafted anybody here, and you'd be like, why?
Yeah, that's true.
Fairness.
Yeah, they don't need this pick, and I think you're getting a good guy that can come off the bench for you for a pick
trade
that you
up.
need. Trade up for who though?
Oh, I said, why did they trade up?
No. Oh, you're right. They did
traded up to get.
Yeah, you're right. I think. I mean, all they had to do was eat Davis Bertans' contract. So I think they were like, screw it, why not?
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Like, why not? You know, they the Mavericks got rid of Davis Bertans with that. And
it's a great Wizards signing.
All-time Wizards signing. Well, the best part about that Wizards signing is he got dumped for Porzingus. That was the best thing that happened. So it's like we signed him and only had to deal with him for a year and a half. And now some other team has to deal with the rest of them. All right.
I don't know how they got rid of that contract so easily.
No, I don't know either. I thought that was going to be one that was going to be stuck with Washington forever. All right, Derek Lively.
He was awesome that one year.
Oh, he was amazing. He was amazing.
Happy and Laser.
Derek Lively going to the Mavericks. I didn't have the right pick, but I had the right team and the right player. And I like the fit. As I said in the pre-draft stuff, they needed a center. He needs to develop a little more on offense. Needs to stay on the court.
If he can play right away.
Yeah, he needs to play. But just a shot blocker that's 7'1" is gonna be good just to have. You know, just why not? Let's try to develop him. Best center in the draft, and he was the number 1 player in the his high school ranking. So it's always, I don't know, those guys. I always be like, you never know. Maybe we can unlock what they had. All right,
True.
Grady.
Well, that's why. Who was I looking at earlier? Where I was like, PBJ. It's like, he's census top recruit or something.
So
and Kyrie was Kyrie was injured at Duke. Went first overall.
Just how it goes. Grady Dick for the Raptors. I have no idea.
I like Grady Dick.
I don't know if I like him or not. I really can't tell.
I like Dick.
Are you saying you like Dick?
I like Dick.
anyways, he's going to be a problem for this podcast.
How old are we?
Honestly, he's going to be a big issue for this podcast. Anywho, Grady Dick, Raptors, the suit, man. I couldn't get over the suit.
It was weird. Did you see that someone said that Dick wearing the suit distracting people from his name was an ultimate PR move?
Oh, well, he the whole draft, he just wanted it seemed like he just wanted attention. The suit, the way he talked, apparently there was some stuff on TikTok. I don't know. He's weird.
He's a weirdo. Yeah, he's a freak.
He is weird. I did like that.
He was weird before he wore the suit.
Yeah, he was.
Weird.
I thought it was funny that he said he's got to meet up with Drake now. Going to the Raptors. Got to meet up with Drake. So that was white boy of him. That was really really white boy of him. And then we're gonna move on. We both nailed the Pelicans.
Look at that.
Yet again, I nailed the Pelicans. I basically am the Pelicans GM at this point. Jordan Hawkins. What?
What am I? Chopped liver?
Yeah, I mean,
I nailed the Pelicans.
Yeah. Well, I nailed them the past 2 years. You got them this year, so I'll give you 50%. You could be the co-GM. So Jordan Hawkins.
Trade Zion or no?
Oh no, hell no. I'd trade Brandon Ingram before I trade Zion. Anyways, this was the worst comparison of the whole draft. They were all pretty bad, but they were like, oh yeah, he's Ray Allen. He goes to UConn and he shoots threes. He's Ray Allen. I love Jordan Hawkins. He is a great 3-point shooter. One of the best college players in the draft, and I had him going to New Orleans. I actually like the fit. I think they have a lot of guys, which is always weird to think about. Do you have too many guys? So so they definitely have some moves to make with their roster.
Guys.
You can have too many guys. It's possible. They gotta have shots. Gotta have shots to go around. But I like this fit. I think it should work. I feel like he could really fit on any team. So yeah, I like that. How do you want to do the rest? Do you want to just go through what you liked? Because we're done the...
Yeah, can we talk about...
Yeah, you want to talk about Cam
Buffkin
Whitmore?
real quick?
Oh, Buffkin.
Do Buffkin.
Yeah, we could do Buffkin. He's the next pick.
Watching?
No.
He was like...
am I missing something? What happened with Buffkin?
In his interview, he was like... watching his mom on the leg. Look it up. I don't know how to describe it. Because it wasn't like... wasn't like gross, but it was weird. It was like moving his fingers like this.
Oh, okay. Headline.
He wasn't like rubbing her, but he was like, it was weird.
Headline
It was
time.
definitely weird.
I know everyone loves when we read headlines on this Wise Guys podcast. NBA draft star draws wrong kind of attention after appearing to stroke mum's leg. With the U, too. Mum. And then here it is. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Hawks.
Is viral for bizarrely rubbing his mom's leg. Yeah, that's.
Look, I've come to just whatever people and their parents, however they show affection and show love with each other, whatever.
When siblings kiss, it's like
yeah.
Really?
I saw a dad lip smack in the draft. I was like, no one's gonna harp on him. It's like, no, where's the Tom Brady memes? Like, what the hell?
I did not see that. When was that?
It was an early pick. Let me see if I can remember who it was. It might have been
on the lips.
It was just a quick little mwah on the lip, but I saw it. I saw it on camera. I don't remember who it was. I wish I could remember, but it was early in the draft.
I myself laughing if I saw that.
All right, basketball wise, so do you know anything about Huzcafino going to the Lakers?
He's a good player.
All right, good player.
I don't know. I mean, he's. I don't know what else to say.
I heard he's a pretty solid playmaker.
Profile at all. Yeah, he's got a good shot. He can pull up off the dribble pretty well. I have a game where he shot when he played in Maryland, he was 0 of 11. So I guess he just needs more consistency. But yeah, I could see him being an effective guard. Yeah.
Fair enough. Jaime Jaquez fell right into the Heat, and when that was happening, I was talking to my dad, and I was like, because at first I was like, great, the Heat are gonna get Cam Whitmore, and they're gonna destroy us, for the next 5 years in the playoffs. And my dad, when the pick came in and it was Jaime Jaquez, I was like, this is worse. This is the perfect Heat. I was like, the perfect Heat player just came in, and he's 20. He's gonna be almost 23 years old. He's gonna come in, and he's gonna be I could see him when they showing the highlights. I was like, I could see him doing this against Green, specifically green jerseys, and I was just losing my mind. So he's gonna be my nightmares. I need to follow him closely because I gotta keep my enemies close. And God, he's gonna be
he'll get traded for Dame
for me. Yeah, that's fine with me. Cause that's totally fine with me. Yeah, that's fine with me.
You're more scared of Jaquez than you are of Damian Lillard.
I think with what the Heat have now, I am more scared of what the Heat have building than what the Heat will look like with Dame.
Nothing building.
I don't care about Dame. I do not.
Sense.
I don't care about Dame. I don't care about him.
They couldn't possibly beat you again with this team.
Maybe not with Porzingus. Maybe that's all that matters. Some Porzingus.
He has a lockdown Porzingus.
So next up, pick number 19, Jack Harlow goes to Golden State Warriors.
I don't even know who this guy is.
No, neither do I. They were asking him some weird questions too. But Brandon Podzinski goes to the Warriors. Anyways, Cam Whitmore escapes. He drops down. He falls in the draft. You got to be pissed, right? Falling in the draft. Shit. You're supposed to be top 4 pick, going to a bunch of bad teams. But at 12 and at 17, 18, and 19, he must have been all right, this is my time. Let's get me on the Warriors. Let's get me on the Lakers. Let's get me on the Heat. All these guys were just in the playoffs, made deep runs. I can start and help out early. And then here come the Rockets at pick 20, and they take it. They're like, welcome to garbage. Like, not only are you not a top 4 pick, but you're still gonna be on a garbage team. Like, that was the ultimate fu of the
At least
whole
he'll
draft.
get playing time.
Oh yeah, and they'll build around him. I think honestly, the Rockets had an excellent draft. This is a steal. I had I had Cam Whitmore going to him as the 4th pick, and now they got him and they got Eamon Thompson. I think they're working to be something good. They have a bunch of guys. They have to figure out who they actually want. But all I know is that was a huge fu to Cam Whitmore.
Yes, that was tough.
Have
you heard anything about why it happened?
I heard there was some injury concerns, and that apparently his coach didn't step up for him. I don't know what that means. I know, like apparently,
didn't talk him up.
Yeah, like didn't. Yeah.
Interesting. So
I don't know. They did. I would have known if the NBA draft TV show had any sort of. They were like, why is he falling? And they were just like, I don't know.
One source, it says that his medicals were red flagged. His workouts and interviews were also underwhelming. One source described Whitmore as comatose during the pre-draft evaluations.
So he just like really wasn't a media presence, I guess.
Stuff is so dumb. Michael Porter Jr. was a player that recently had a draft fall due to both medical and interview issues.
Interview issues.
Turned out, yeah, seriously.
All right. So, who do you think? I mean, we're 20 picks in. I don't think we need to go through Dariq Whitehead, Chris Murray. I like Prosper.
Can you please not do all the picks?
I like Prosper. You know, I don't know much about him from Marquette.
Yeah, I don't either.
After I saw his highlights, and his name is Oliver
Prosper is a good name.
Maxine Prosper. It's an amazing name.
Or OMP.
My dad started naming off like, oh, the Omaxes, the Omax Prospers. And then I was like, you can get a shoe called the Omaxes and the Prospers. Like, this guy's a marketing machine.
Sure.
So just because of that, I love it for the Mavericks. So let's go on. Who do you think won the draft?
That's the ball at 28. I like Ohio State.
Okay, another good pick by the Jazz.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. Any other one? Oh, well, the Wizards' second round pick. You think?
Oh,
you're drawing parallels.
You mean you mean Jokic? You guys got Giannis and Jokic in one draft. literally insane.
I was talking to my dad about it. And I was like, because we had talked about it last night, and I was telling him that Bilal was basically Giannis, and then today, I was like, "Well, you see their second round pick? It's Jokic."
Yeah, it's basically Jokic.
Both. They just need to hit on one of them, and they're fine. The 7-foot Serbian center who shoots. He's
when it popped up,
I watched the highlights and I thought he was Wemby at first.
When he popped up and it said Serbia, I was just like, you gotta be fucking shitting me.
How did he fall to 42?
This is
Wow, like actually,
I don't know.
He looks awesome. I'm more excited about him than I am about Bali.
Well, so is he playing? He's under contract to play in Serbia next year.
Yeah, well, apparently he wants them to buy out his contract.
Nice. He wants to get in the league right away. Yes. I love it. I absolutely love it.
But I don't know. They might have him play another year. I'm not sure yet. I think they should bring him to the G League, at least.
What was your infatuation with Terrence Jackson Davis out of Indiana?
Well, I watched him, and he's like, just look up like Trace Jackson Davis dunks.
Okay. And then I'll just be all in.
A force to be reckoned with. And the way that he like handles the ball in the post too. The problem is he's old. He's like 23. Not big enough to play center, which is where he played college. He's such a good rebounder. Also,
He sounds
I
like
feel
he's
like
gonna
that's
be
just
a
like
great warrior.
I could see it.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know,
like he's
like
gonna be a
him
great
at
warrior.
57 is nuts to me.
Yeah, do you see what his tweet? Do you see his tweet?
Yeah, and that never works out.
No, it
so.
never does.
Like
It
literally
never
never
works out at all.
does. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, I might be out on him. I did really want him, although I would take Mitch over him any day of the week, twice on Sundays.
I love how his name is Vucevic
The
too,
ceiling.
which is like already an NBA name.
Ceiling with Vukovic, or is it Vucevic?
It sounded like they were saying
Vucevic.
Vucevic.
Is
What? Huh?
how is Vucevic's name spelled? Okay, there's no K in Nikola Vucevic's name.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's Vukovic. I don't know.
Whatever.
How could you not?
Were
be
you mad that
excited
the
about Vucevic?
Amari Barely went right? I mean, like before you knew Tristan Vucevic, were you watching it all, or were you already in bed at that point?
No, at that point I was going to sleep.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
They
say
traded 35, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Amani Bailey was right there, and
I don't really care about Amari Bailey.
well, we talked about the Drake connection. It would have been huge for the city of DC. Anyways, I do like mini Jokic, so that's
Yeah, he's the best second round pick.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know your thing, but
There is a far better second round pick that we will get to.
it got to the point where I was like, they actually might take.
I thought it would have worked. Thought it would have made sense. I before we move on to that, Amani Bates goes to Cleveland. I hate it. I'm now out. I'm out on Amani Bates. I'm out. I was all in. I wanted him to go to like Milwaukee or like I don't know. He would have been fun on like the Nets or the Suns, who need a guy out there. But on Cleveland, he's just he's a terrible Donovan Mitchell. Like he's a chucker. And I don't think being in Cleveland is going to help him out at all. Huh?
He's 6'9".
Yeah, and he looks like a twig. I'm out.
Brandon Ingram. Out. Okay.
I'm excited to be back once
Going
this
back.
place. No, I'm excited to be back. But for right now, I'm out. And then shout out Keontae Johnson, who almost died while playing in Florida. Was told to never play basketball again. Went to Kansas State. Played basketball again. And now got drafted with the 50th pick, which isn't. I mean, he got drafted, which is cool. So shout out to him.
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
All right, can I take over with College Corner?
You got it.
Gigi Jackson ended up in the perfect spot. This is the perfect pick for him. He's in the right spot. All I have to say is, if you wanted to be the 7th pick, just like our guy Bilal Coulibaly, you should have stayed one more year. You would have been right up there. If you wanted to be a first-round pick, should have stayed. Also, like and it got to the end where it was like clear, like he was going to be a second-round pick. But like, I want to know in his camp, like, what did they say to him when deciding to stay or go? And I guess at that point, they thought they were going to be a first-round pick, but it was not close. It's not close at all.
No, it's not. He was just as close to being undrafted as he was to be a first-round pick.
I will say I did feel bad. So he came out, and he was like, there was like an interview right before he's in his draft party. They're watching the draft. And they're like, oh, you got anything to say to South Carolina fans? He was just like, I want to apologize yet again for my attitude out on the court. For that wasn't me. That was me being big-headed. And now I gotta mature. I can't be doing that anymore.
Little-headed.
And I'm sorry. Yeah. He said now he needs to be little-headed, Gigi. And honestly, I felt bad because it felt like in my mind, like he was like, oh, like the South Carolina, like the fans they're not gonna like at the end he was like, I want your support and I want you guys to always think of me as a Gamecock, and I was like, I will personally will carry the torch and will always think of you, GG Jackson, as a Gamecock. So he goes to the Memphis Grizzlies, pick 45. Finally gets drafted. Of course, there's tears. He's GG Jackson. There's got to be some tears. There was tears.
Emotional guy.
It was also the funniest tweet was, and it's not that funny, but it's funny to me. Was the picture of him with like his family and like Lamont is around him, and it's like GG, devastated he fell so far. It's devastated he hasn't heard his name called yet. And then I'm sitting there on Twitter because it's a commercial, and it's like, oh, GG Jackson got drafted. And I'm like, oh, they're in commercial. And I come back. They come back from commercial. You don't get to hear his name called. And they just go, during the commercial, Gregory Jackson out of South Carolina gets drafted. And they show like his little highlights. And one of the women, they go, hey, you asked all these other people how they feel about GG Jackson. What do you feel about GG Jackson? And like this whole time, even in the second round, they're like, oh, this guy is going to add great things, yada, yada, yada. She goes, the problem with GG Jackson is his efficiency ain't there. When his highs are really high, but his lows are really low. And I was just like, damn, he got the shortest stick in the draft. Like, he just got screwed over and over again. And they couldn't even say anything nice about him. Half his highlights, too, which pissed me off. Half of his highlights were from him in high school when he was the #1 prospect. And I was like, oh, you got to be shitting me. Like, he played a full season in SEC basketball. Like, I was like, I want to be on the highlights. Like, get out of here. Like, stop drilling these out here. I worked my ass off to be in these highlights. And I was not in them. But I do like the fit with the Grizzlies. I think get him in the G League for a year. Let him mature. Let him cook. Marcus Smart's in the building now. They have an adult. Him and Ja. The greatest Instagram live of all time is coming. It's going to be insane.
What was the Instagram live that he did when he was like complaining that
it was after the Arkansas game, and he was like, I thought I was the man. They don't give me the ball enough. Like, they're basically like this shit sucks. So yeah, he's gonna be bitching on Instagram Live while Ja is showing a gun in the background. But in all seriousness,
the locker room.
In all seriousness, he's a kid that grew up in Columbia his whole life, stayed in Columbia for college. He had on his jacket, he had all the South Carolina legends in basketball that were born in South Carolina. I'm happy to see him get drafted. I'm glad he got drafted. I think he's in a good situation where he will eventually play, because I think the Grizzlies, well, I know the Grizzlies have developed talent the past couple years. Then they haven't been the highest of draft picks. So I think he's in a great system. Going to be not needed to play. He's not going to have to play for a little while now. Let him grow. Let him mature. When he comes at 20 years old in 2 years, get him in there, and it'll be like his rookie year. So that being said, thanks for coming to South Carolina, GG. Officially done. And good luck. Good luck in the league. Sorry, I got
this guy.
He's got a special place in my heart. GG.
Why?
I don't know. Just because
you sucked last year.
I think it's because I wanted him to come so badly, and when he finally did, and like I was tweeting at him, I was putting on my Instagram story for him to come to South Carolina, and when he finally did, it didn't even matter the result. It was just fun to watch him play, fun to see a guy and said, hey, I watched that guy courtside, and now he's in the NBA. It's something cool to say. So that's why I'm so excited, and that's why I will always say.
Fair enough. Yeah, he was also born in 2004, which is
that's insane. He's the youngest player in the draft.
Yeah.
So
December 2004. He's over 3 years younger than me.
Yeah, he's insanely young. And if you look at it from a Grizzlies perspective and a Grizzlies fan, I would be excited. You got the guy who was the number one recruit coming in. He reclassified, went to a school that had nothing around him. And sure, he pouted. He had some attitude issues, but he is clearly apologetic for it. Clearly, he doesn't want to make the same mistake again. And you're gonna get like he was sobbing on the phone when he had it, and he was like, "You're not making a bad mistake. Like this is a guy who has a chip on his shoulder now, and has the talent. So it's just can you put the talent together and develop the talent, and you could get possibly the steal of the draft."
All right, I'm in.
Love it, absolutely love it.
It's no Jokic, but
yeah, he's
my second favorite pick.
All right, that's fair.
Around.
That's fair. I tweeted at Tate Frazier last night, and because I saw him like liking some tweets, and I was just like, "What's your favorite second round pick?" Just like hoping like maybe he'll say G.G. Jackson, but he actually said Jordan Walsh that got drafted by the second.
Oh, really?
And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
nice, perfect." So a lot of great second round picks, future Hall of Famers all around.
Yeah, maybe like 2 that will be decent.
Yeah, GG and Jokic. All right. Well, man, hour 30. I knew.
You think Giannis and Jokic could play together? Like, do you think it would work?
Oh yeah.
It would, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about the fit. Worry about the fit later.
My biggest concern right now.
Yeah, can these two future Hall of Famers can work together? Oh God. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's to be the best front court in the NBA. So that's what you have looking forward to. In 5 years, you will have the best front court and the number 1 pick coming in from Phoenix. It's really looking good for the.
Just be traded for Wemby. Actually, we won't even need Wemby at this.
No, you don't need Wemby anymore. I forgot about Jokic because you don't even need Wemby.
We can play point guard. Like a team of
let's just get freaky
out there.
Let's just get freaky.
Let's have like 3 7-feet guys.
Yeah, like the Magic.
Bali grows.
Ugh.
Just trotting out 7 foot, 7'1" and 7'4". It's like, whoa, what's going on out here?
They're like team averages against them. The team averages 0 rebounds a game against them.
The Wizards are getting like 24 blocks a game. A little bit.
They got to bring back Bol at some point. I mean, Manut's a legend in DC.
So. Porzingus a return.
Yeah, let's just get all the 7-feeters. All right. I think that does it.
Imagine now that image is just in my head of like. 5.
You need to calm down. we need to get like a spray bottle. We need to get a spray bottle for you.
Just stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. On 2K, it'd be the best team in the league. All right. I think that does it. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I'm glad we got through it. I'm glad you weren't in a car the whole time too. That makes it better. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope your team drafted a perennial all-star, and we'll see everyone on Tuesday for God knows what, but we'll figure it out. We always do. Thank you for listening. Have a good weekend.